G'day fellas, welcome to a casted game between Don Artie, aka the Don, playing the English, who spawns in the south of the map, and his opponent, who spawns in the north of the map, on the red color, playing the RUS. It is Hera. For anybody wondering about these two players, these are two incredible players. Hera is going to be playing this weekend in Genesis, the $20,000 #1 Age of Empires 4 tournament. Or #1, I say #1, but the very first Age of Empires 4 tournament. With a little bit of a mistake right there from Don Artie already. Actually losing 3 of his hunt right there to Hera. That was, that's pretty tough. Don Artie actually picked up the hunt first, but Hera came through and sniped out a couple. So Don Artie did actually make it through to the round of 16. So unfortunately going down in the end to Lucifron in Genesis. But he did pick up a couple of big names on his way to the top, including Doubt, who he defeated in a best of 3. So if you're looking for somebody to watch, I would definitely say watch out for Don Artie. This guy is going to be big. He is going to be, you know, towards the future, he is going to be looking pretty good. Now, got to be careful right here. Looks like he's going to lose. He lost a sheep right there. So one of the things he should have probably realized that he needed to get those sheep. But by the same token, he's down over on this side. Hera going to be stealing out quite a few sheep here. There's another one in between these two. Don actually spotting out his hunt. Looks like Hera is going to be picking up another sheep from Don. So picking up 3 sheep in total. Keep in mind that Hera playing on the RUS is going to have this scout, but he's also going to have this scout up here, which is why that one's standing still, because he's busy microing this one, trying to get out on the map. So multiple scouts out for him. Not going to be going any more scouts, just the 2 scouts. So 1 starting scout plus the second one. Let's talk a little bit about this opening, a little bit about what we can expect here. So for anybody wondering, Don Artie is a big fan of playing one base. He loves one base. So my expectations for Don this game are that he's going to do some sort of one base all in. Now when I say all in, it's not necessarily an all in. He does like to play a little bit defensive. He makes sure he's always training villages, that sort of thing. But he's not going to be looking for a second TC. At least he doesn't normally look for a second TC. So I'd be curious to see how he does actually play it. Picks off a wolf here, so he recognizes what the threat is. Look at this beautiful little micro right now coming out from Hera. Doing his best, trying to machine gun this this wolf down. Don going for the snipe, missing it out, so Hera's going to be picking it up. Don now age up in queue. Going to get that council hall out in a nice position on the council hall as well. Keep in mind that with the council hall, just like other military production buildings, that this will always have your archers, or always have your longbowmen coming out from the bottom side, okay? So you can't actually change that. Even if you were to rally them towards the town center or up here towards this tree, it's not going to work. They will walk there, but they will always come out here. So it's so important to be careful about where you place your council hall. Don't want to place it at the front of your base. If you come place it up here and your enemy, let's say you place your council hall right here, okay? And your enemy comes in with a whole bunch of archers. They can sit right there, okay? And fire at any of your archers that come out, and you can't do anything about it because your town center, they sit right outside the range, and so you've got to be very, very careful of it. All right, so let's take a look over at Hera. We'll see exactly what he is up to. Up in the base of Hera. You're going to be going for that Golden Gate opening. This is a pretty standard opening that we've now seen from a lot of RUS players. It's a very flexible opening. There's a lot of different things that they can do with this, whether it's they want to play the 2 base, whether they want to go for the fast castle. There's really a lot of options open for them. The other important thing to note is that you can't really scout what your enemy is doing with this. So if they do go for a fast castle, you can't scout the difference between it and a 2 base play. So you've got to be very careful. Hera coming up again, picking up a lot of these hunts right here. So I think in total, Hera has picked up 2.5 to 3 hunts out of the 4 hunts. So a pretty decent job. Going to continue scouting out the rest of the map. So for anybody wondering, the map that we're playing on here, I believe it's called Lipany. Now, or actually it might be Highview. I think this one is Highview. Actually, I don't know. I'm going to go with, oh, you know what I can do? Get ready. I'm just going to press escape. It's Lipany. It's Lipany. And it's, of course, on the steppes biome that we are watching today. So a little bit more of a reddish glow to the ground rather than all of that beautiful green that we always like to see. You know what I'd love? I'd love, if a developer is watching this, write this down. Can I have a default set that I can always watch my games in as a caster? Like, I would always love my games to be beautiful and green. Like, I don't ever want to see, like, the tundra. I don't ever want to see, like, this red kind of sandy look. I just always want them to be beautiful and green. Would that be possible, do you guys think? I don't even know if that would be possible, but I'd love that. I think that would be great. All right, let's take a look at what he's up to. He's up to a little bit of the... Oh, this is cheeky from Hera. So one base play, but not going to be going for fast castle. Going to be going for upgraded archers. And I do like this. I think this is very strong, especially against the English. So Hera might be losing a... He's probably going to lose this scout here. This scout is almost definitely going down. Indeed it is. So don't stuff around with the English town center. These bad boys fire double the arrows. But I'm curious to see Don Artie's perspective. Don actually going to come in with the scout. He would have spotted this one here. We can see that he is coming across from that direction. So he would have spotted out at least one archery range and hasn't spotted the second one out just yet. Definitely hasn't spotted the blacksmith. But the blacksmith probably going to begin getting these upgrades up. Now going to be dropping down a stable as well from Hera. So this is a build order that we've seen him do multiple times. Not a build order necessarily, but an opening that he's done multiple times. So going for the double archery range and then moving into a stable. So in one of the last games that we watched him in, he actually opened double archery range into double stable. So we'll look out for that and see whether that's something that he looks to do here as well. But this is playing right into Don's hand. Don loves his English one base play. You can see he's already beginning getting his upgrades, got his wheelbarrow in. He's already got his forest chopping ability. I don't remember the name of it. Doesn't have quite the mining upgrade yet, or no other food upgrades or wood cutting upgrades. But going to begin placing farms down in his transitional period, not any other type of period. So, for anybody watching on YouTube, they're just wondering, Drongo, what the hell is wrong with you right now? I mean, I'm sure all the people on Twitch are probably wondering the same thing as well. But I digress. Let's move on. Don Artie, going to be... I would be very satisfied if I was Don right now in this position, because he's very happy just chilling out. The longer this game goes on, the better for him, just simply because of his economy. He's also incredibly effective against Streltsy, so even if it does go to late game, he's not going to have too much of an issue, because longbowmen do very effectively against Streltsy, just because they got a longer range. So Streltsy, they want to stay still, okay? But against longbows, they can't really stay still, because they've got a much shorter range. So with a Streltsy, it's going to get a bonus as the game goes on, or rather, as it stands still, and it continues firing. But against the longbows, you know, with constant kiting, it's going to be very difficult to ever get into range, because they have a much shorter range. Speaking of range, let's take a look over at the base of Hera, see what he's added to his 2 archery ranges, as well as that stable. Doesn't look like anything just yet, but his economy is booming at the moment. Business is definitely booming for him. He's got his first wood chopping upgrade. We'll take a look. He doesn't look like he's got a hunting cabin out anywhere other than here, so no upgrades for that one just yet, but using all of his supplies. So supplies are looking good, but now moving it out across the map. And looking for some picks, I would suspect. So going to continue down towards this direction, looking to isolate any potential berries. But, you know, he should know that his opponent is playing the English, and it's highly unlikely for him to do anything but farming on mills in the early stages of the games. English players typically won't leave their base, but Don's got to be a little bit careful right now. One villager going to be going down. No more villagers, fortunately, for Don. So we'll do a quick stop take. 31 villagers at the moment for Hera. His opponent, Don, sits on 30. Both of these players macroing right now quite impeccably. Don's got to be careful, though, as the archers move down towards the south, as well as a couple of knights. And look at how smart Hera is. Instead of firing off the arrow, he realizes, I want to get right in next to these guys and really begin focusing down villagers. Going to be taking out 3 villagers here. 4th villager doesn't go down, but turns around and fires its bow. Don down to 27 villagers at the moment. Compare that over to his opponent. Hera sits on 32 right now, so 5 villagers in total. Archer's going to be doing their best. Don not looking his strongest right now, that is for sure. That is definitely a little bit of a slow reaction from Don, so he might have been watching the TV or had YouTube up on the other screen. Don, get your head in the game, son. Now going to be looking to loop around this back tree line, and Don spotting him, finding him, and going to continue punishing a couple of these archers. We'll take a look from his perspective and see exactly what he sees. Keep in mind, he does have this upgrade, or not upgrade, but he does have this buff, the network of castles, so Hera doesn't want to push into this. Do we have any upgrades just yet? We do have the +1 upgrade, +1 defense upgrade, but keep in mind, with regard to these units, that they do more damage. They do more damage. So Hera has the +1 upgrade. They're doing 6 damage. These bad boys have got 6 damage by default. Now a little bit of a raid down here on the south side. Going to be picking up a couple more villages, and Don Artie not looking the best right now. A single spear. Going to be getting in on the action, and look at the damage that's coming out from these villages. Now, it's not a huge amount of damage, but it starts to add up. When you get all of these villages here, 17 villages, that's 17 damage. So they really start to add up. Now, more and more longbows beginning to fire off, taking out the rest of the... Don Artie on 28 villages at the moment. We'll check in on Hera, see how he is doing. He's sitting on 36, so an 8 villager lead at the moment. So Hera looking very comfortable at this point. He doesn't really need to do anything at this point other than just, you know, match the town centers from Don, and he's going to be fine. Continue applying pressure like this, and he's got to be careful though, because he does have that +1, but Don's now got the +1 attack on his side as well. So it's going to mean that he's able to pick off these units very well. You can see just how much damage gets put out onto that early knight. Almost an entire volley, doing about 30%. So plenty of damage coming out right there, and looking to push him back, and this is exactly what Don wants to do. So typically in this situation, Don is going to be focusing down enemy archers with his own longbows, and then using his spears to meet... Oh, a little bit of a curious... What just happened there? Did you guys see that? A little bit of mid-map connection with the lancers? That was kind of strange. But you can see just how effective Don's micro is here, picking off every single archer of his enemy, and then just leaving the knights unprotected. And it means that when the spears come in, they're going to be able to clean them up. So really smart play from Don. Great micro. And Hera in a bit of a difficult spot, despite taking down plenty of those villagers. Still having a bit of a tough time. All right. Let's take a look over at Hera's base to see what he's up to. Still no upgrade. Looks like he might be actually getting his wood chopping upgrade, so that is a nice one from him. Does have that wheelbarrow in. Out on any boars? Doesn't look like it just yet. Not out on any boars. One of the things we have seen him do before is go for an early boar transition. So this boar down here to the south is very nicely positioned. And keep in mind, he's playing the RUS. So if he makes an outpost down here towards the south, that this outpost is going to be able to hold 8 people. They're not called outposts, they're called wooden fortresses. But that is a very expensive investment. For him to come down onto this and to drop an outpost, it would cost 100 plus 175, so 275 wood. For a civ, for any standard civ, that would cost 50 wood for the mill, and then 100 wood for the outpost. So it's basically costing double the wood for him to be able to expand out there. But speaking of expansion, we now see him moving out across the map. 6 villagers, going to be placing down a hunting cabin right on top of these deer carcasses, so very nice for him. Really nice opening so far from Hera, and his macro is looking relatively like he's going to stay around in the second age and just continue making units. We don't actually see a second stable. We do see a second stable now coming out for Hera. Going to be picking off a scout, just any potential information that he wanted to pick up. No longer going to be able to spot that one. But now, Don, not going to be the only one in the dark. Hera is also going to be in the dark. One of the typical things that Don Artie does, he doesn't scout. He doesn't need scouting. He pretends that he knows what his opponent's up to, but then he gets surprised by the unit that he didn't expect. So we're going to continue to watch him, see from his perspective. But you see how many units begin to trickle out across the map now for Don. And this is exactly what he wants. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a +1 timing. Don now going to continue pushing out, dropping down those healing auras, and we see plenty of archers coming out. These archers are going to be focusing down the spears. Don's archers focusing down the archers on the back line, and all of those spears getting cleaned up almost completely. And now a bit of a difficult spot for Don. More archers, or more spears rather, going to be coming in, looking to connect in here, and managing to get some pretty decent hits in. But at the same time, take a look at Hera's micro. As long as there's enough archers here to deal with the spears, he's going to be absolutely fine. And it definitely looks like that is the case. Hera doing a great job now of continuing to push Don back. And a very difficult spot for Don, because he's got a lot of units in here that have got very high armor on them. But nonetheless, it looks like Don is actually going to be able to force a little bit of a retreat out of Hera at this point. And Don continues to get decent trades on the units that he wants. He wants to focus down these archers, and that's exactly what he's doing. More spears now going to continue coming in for Don. As we get closer to Don's base, keep in mind his reinforcements are going to be coming in quicker and thicker. But now a single hardened spearman remains for Don Artie. And both players look to somewhat call it a draw at this point in time. We'll do a bit of a stock take. 37 villagers for Don Artie. His opponent Hera sitting on 45, so quite a significant advantage for him. No players really looking to drop down that second town center just yet. Hera expanding up towards the north. No berries really coming out just yet for him in the middle of the map. We'll compare it to Don, and take a look at Don, exactly what he's up to. He is dropping down plenty of these. Now, Don's actually doing something quite cheeky here. I do like this from Don. Now, this farm, as far as I'm aware... Oh, it's not actually included. Okay, I thought that this farm would be included in this square, but I think it's actually been cut off. So, very interesting to note. Alright, we'll take a quick look at the military. You guys can see at the top how many units have been killed, how many have been lost, so it's still quite an even battle. It's important to note that Hera's units are a lot more expensive though, so he has lost, or Don has killed 45 units, but keep in mind that is knights as well that have died. Now, I don't know whether this includes economic units as well, so there's no real option for us to do that, but I guess we can just keep it on income per minute. Gives you kind of a good reflection on where these players are at. You can see Hera's got a significantly higher wood per minute, but now Don is going to be in a difficult spot because these knight mass continues to build and focusing down these archers. He really wants to focus down these archers before they can get into the fight. Don getting a pretty nice connect there with his spears, but I think he took quite a fair bit of extra damage. More spears going to be coming in, and Don doing a pretty decent job right now of connecting. He needs to get these spears back though, so they're not taking damage here, and really use the longbows to bonus range to his strength, and that's exactly what he's doing. Spears managing to do pretty well, and Don very happy with himself at this point and extending out that range. So we can see at this point that his towers out the front are going to be extending out this range. So for anybody wondering exactly what it is we're talking about, it's that little network of castles bonus that will happen. So you can see all of these units are at the moment not getting buffed up, but as soon as there's military units around, they will start to get buffed up once they get into these fights, or at least if there's any enemy units that enter into this AoE. So Don should look to extend this out. Maybe drop down another outpost right here would be really strong for Don and would enable him to get that buff. Alright. Don looking still pretty strong at the moment. Still no expansion at this point. No real threat of heading up to the second age. Score's looking pretty good, especially for Don. We'll take a look at Hera, see what he's up to. Hera's still not expanding either. Going to begin adding farms at the north. Adding farms slightly around the town center. A couple of random farms in positions that probably could have been better placed, but that's okay to have one of them out of position. Not a huge deal. But take a look at the gold and the wood or food rather, that's being saved up right now. And I expect we're going to be seeing an age up coming through any second right now for Hera. It's a stable getting dropped on the front line, and Don pushing at the right time. He knows exactly when to push. Do we just see a whole bunch of units get trained right now for Hera? I expect that we would. Don got to be careful. These spears are way out of position. Got to keep those bad boys back. Hera now dropping down his age up. Gonna be going up with the high trade house once again. And now Don moving his spears into position. Not enough spears here right now. Has to be really careful. But keep in mind he does have palings that he can fall back on if he needs to. And Don going to begin isolating out some of these villagers, bringing the score up a little bit closer to himself. So taking out 3 villagers now. So 48 villagers down for Hera. I suspect Don's probably sitting on about 43 at the moment. 47 for Don. Don looking very strong now, bringing up that villager count and really starting to tie it back up. But keep in mind, his enemy is aging up and he doesn't know about it, unable to scout it. He's sitting at the back here, and look how many villagers he has got on that. Hera is feeling very good about himself with this many villagers. Gonna be dropping down a lumber camp. And now we got ourselves a little bit of a fight on the front line as Don begins to position up forward. Spears begin jostling with their enemy lancers. One of the things that we haven't seen out of Don just yet is the classic spear drop down, or the pike drop down, where they drop down all their spears and you hear that beautiful splicing sound, stabbing sound almost. It's like it's beautiful. It's a wonderful sound. Hopefully we get to hear it this game. But now Don, I would expect, begins adding a ram at this point. We'll take a look and see if he's got that ram research just yet. It's in queue. It's in queue. So Don definitely knowing or realizing that there is an opening here. Undoubtedly going to be getting some research coming through. There's the upgrade to knights that are coming through. Archer range, or archer. There it is. The veteran archer upgrade also going to be coming through for Hera as well. So Hera definitely has a nice little window here where he's going to be able to take on Don's troops. And Don's troops aren't going to be anywhere near as strong as his own. So got to be very careful. Don does, because in the event that his enemy does push in and look to fight him, he's going to have significantly weaker troops. So I guess the question is, at this point, why is Don sticking around? Does Don really think he can take on this Age 3 fight? Men-at-Arms now coming out for Don, and I do like this switch. Quite smart, picking off another villager down here towards the south. So Don now beginning to add men-at-arms into his mix. You can see more and more men-at-arms in here. Don doing his best to try and pick off these lancers. Healing ward getting thrown down. Healing ward? I'm not sure. Healing camp, I think it's called. I don't even see it right here. It's not even on the UI right now, but I think it's healing camp. And Don's still trying to pick off all of these archers. And now we're going to get ourselves into the battle as Don looks to connect with his spears. Not managing to really get much of it working. Got to be careful. Needs those men-at-arms to be chasing after all of those archers. But Don actually doing a pretty decent job right now, continuing to force back all of those archers. He's got to be careful as those knights continue to make their way through the town. Did a little bit of a loop around the landmark, loop around the town center, but made their way back. And Don in a decent spot right now. We see a trade now from Hera coming out as well. And we'll take a look and see. Don starting to pull ahead and score up 100 points. And continuing to focus down these units. We see a +2 attack coming in right now for Hera. Already has that +2 armor that's come through, so really getting all those upgrades in that he needs, but he just doesn't have the mass that he needs right now. Men-at-Arms also going to be added into the mix and really hurt because they do 8 damage each veteran, or each veteran archer. But the Men-at-Arms have got 4 armor, which means they're only really doing 4 damage, so it's going to take, in total, you're going to need 30 shots for these bad boys to die. Compare that over to a spear, which has 1 armor, and these guys get bonus damage against, so we've got 8 +7, so they do 15 a shot, so -1 from the armor, so they're doing 14 a shot, and they've got, how much health have they got? 90 health, so what's 90 divided by 14? I could do the math quickly, but I'm going to suspect it's probably about 7 shots that would do it. Alright, Don now looking to bring out the rams. You guys know exactly where he's going to take him. The first ram is complete. Second ram coming up. Don's got to be careful. Got to wake up those spears. Second ram going to be coming out. Don going to his favorite place. And Don reaching the castle age. Something I didn't ever expect to read on my screen. Don Artie with 4 barracks, by the way. And where is that second landmark? There it is. It's the town center. He's gone for the King's Palace. The most common landmark that you'd expect to see. And Don now retreating, looking to get his upgrades. He needs to avoid fighting at this point, especially because his enemy knows that he needs to avoid fighting right now. And Don now in a bit of a difficult spot because his enemy's pushed out. Hera is in a decent position. We continue to see these archers focusing down spears on the back line. Knights are actually getting cleaned up hugely by Don's composition, despite them not being as strong. We do see the veteran men-at-arms coming through right now for Don, so getting that upgrade through straight away. And rather than veteran men-at-arms, these are just normal men-at-arms because they are a castle-age unit. And Don actually repelling this completely and looking like he's going to put Hera in an incredibly tough position. And once again, we see why Don was able to take out Doubt with incredible micro like this that we've been witnessing. And Hera in a difficult spot as he continues to move back towards his town center. He's got units coming out, but the only thing that can really save him right now is a mangonel. And that's exactly what we see. Siege Workshop. This is the only saving grace that he could make right now. It would be 1 or 2 mangonels that come out, and it would be able to save the day. That is it. I can't really think of anything else that would be able to compete with the mass right now from Don. Hera at the same time, look at this beautiful landmark that we've got, the High Trade House, 92 gold a minute, so only getting a few trees in here, but able to pull in that much gold. Quite nice, and a third ram now coming in from Don Artie. Mangonel going to be coming out as well, so I'm going to assume that Don has scouted this. We'll take a look from his perspective. There's no real way for us to tell us, but we did see his longbows had moved up to this position, so probably scouted the Siege Workshop. So he will know that he probably needs to separate these units, keep them all separate, so that they're not all tucked up close together like this. But have a look at the armor right now that's on these men-at-arms. 7 armor. 7 armor. These guys have got their Chad armor in. So for anybody wondering, the men-at-arms have got an upgrade. The English men-at-arms have got an upgrade called Clad armor. Now, some people misspell that on purpose to call it Chad armor because these guys become absolute tanks when they have this upgrade. It gives them +2 melee, +2 range armor. Do we have that mangonel out? Yeah, we do indeed have that mangonel out. So let's take a look over from Hera's perspective. This is exactly what we want to see. I want to follow this mangonel. The story of this mangonel is what will depend on this game, I guess is probably the best way to say it. What this mangonel decides to do, decides to shoot at, it's going to decide this game. Mangonel. That is not the correct direction. Come on, Mangonel. You can do this. Oh, second Mangonel. The story, the plot thickens. Oh, this could be really bad. This could be really bad for Don Artie. Lancers, Knights rather, and Archers. Mangonel shot. Don doesn't realize, and the Mangonels are shot at the ram. Don now splitting up all of his units. We see at the back line, plenty of men-at-arms going to begin running in. Villagers getting pulled, probably going to be doing up nice amounts of healing. Men-at-arms on the front line. You can just see how many men-at-arms Don has got right now. Looking very, very strong. Beautiful shots coming in on the back with the Mangonels. And I guess Hera is in a bit of a difficult spot. We've got to watch the HP on this Mangonel. Villagers need to heal. Villagers were not healing, standing by idly. Town center going down at the same time. A single Mangonel remains. Doesn't get its final shot off. And huge amount of army still remains right now for Don Artie. All of them at full HP. Mangonel's in absolute shambles right now. And Don looks like he's going to be going through to the next round of Drongo's casting. Because this is really tough for Hera. I mean, at this point, he's lost his main town center. He's lost his primary landmark. He's got one remaining landmark. Don's got a couple of men-at-arms just hanging out in his ram. Gonna take those fellas off to the ranch, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hera has typed in the good game, and you hear right there the screams of Don Artie's men. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you're watching this on Twitch, I know that you guys have enjoyed it. That's why you guys are here. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.